to be here. My name is Rodney Conover, as earlier stated. Graduated of University of Texas at Austin. And I am running for Congress in the 36th District, California, out in the desert. I'm running for Congress for many reasons, but here's the main one. I'd like to be exempt from Obamacare. Like many of you, I had the same doctor for 9 years. Obamacare came along, boom, gone. I had the same plan, which I loved. Obamacare came along, boom, gone. You know how I found out? I got a letter from my insurance company. It said, "Dear Mr. Conover, as of October 1st, you will no longer like your plan." Well, that was great. As I said, I am running for Congress. Now, I am getting a lot of help. First thing I did was I hired a lot of Republican consultants. They know everything. And they're expensive, but they are worth it. And my first campaign slogan, "I'm not Anthony Weiner," that tested through the roof. But I'm going with, I still think Obamacare, or the repeal of Obamacare, is still the primary reason. It's been my life's work for the last, 8 years, however long it's been. And I'm starting to waver slightly, but I have not given up. And, it really was I've been in the entertainment side of politics for many years, many decades, and I really got energized when I actually retired from entertainment. I got into politics full time, and I really got energized when Obamacare passed, and I started getting interested when I first saw Senator Cruz standing up for us. It seemed like he was alone, and I was very touched. I was very impressed. I just felt like I should do something. I felt alone myself all of a sudden. And I want to thank someone I haven't even met yet. I've talked to, but haven't met her. She's around here somewhere. Julie McCarty. There she is. Thank you for having me. And of course, congratulations to James Dickey on the new gig. And how about that Wade Miller, huh? Yeah, I gotta tell you, Marine, he's got the political director for the great senator from Texas, Ted Cruz, and he's too humble. He's too humble. He won't mention a lot of people. A lot of people probably don't know this because he's too humble to mention it, but he's also a potential employer of me. So, he won't talk about it. So, that is enough of my potential DC consulting speech writing gig. I want to introduce my wife. She's back there, Diana Joy. Stand up there, Diana. Wave that ring. Yeah. That, for all you budding speakers, is called winning over the female part of the crowd. I cannot lose the females like that. As I said, I was on the entertainment side of politics for a very long time. I wrote Rush Limbaugh monologues for 6 years. It was really interesting. He started out in Sacramento and moved to New York. It was a real fun time of life. It was the 90s, and that was the decade, man. Let me tell you. That was the one. If you were there, you remember it, And I don't know what happened. I really don't. We took over a world that seemed like, the contract of America, and Then I don't know what happened after that. Something weird happened, but I got involved with an organization in Hollywood, not in Hollywood, but it was called Friends of Abe, and started out a very small organization, and it's now rather large, and it's not even secret anymore. FOA stands for Friends of Abe, and it started out as a secret organization where conservatives who happen to work in the entertainment business could get together, drink beer, and talk to each other. And it was kind of funny because you'd see people and you'd go, oh, here you look, oh my God. Known a guy for 10 years and you don't know that he's a Republican. It was really a lot of fun, and it started out, it was just a who's who back then, and Andy Breitbart, Matt Drudge. Of course, there was big names, but they didn't care if they were out of the closet, But there was tons of people that put their career at risk by going to these meetings, and it was just a fun time. It still is. I had the great honor, by the way, of introducing Senator Cruz to FOA a couple of years ago, and it was just unbelievable. It was the second greatest night of my life. I know what you're thinking. What was the first greatest night of your life? And that was opening for Marie Osmond. That, my friends, that was awesome. That was really good. But I used to be a young Republican. It's true. I did. I used to be a young Republican. And I love debating. I love debating Democrats. I really do. If it's if they're debating me specifically. Because they just come right out with, why should anybody vote for an actor? They always come out like an actor. Why should I vote for an actor? And they're dead. I mean, they just gotta say, I voted for an actor twice. His name was Ronald Reagan. Remember that? That turned out quite well. And back then, when I was a young Republican, Ronald Reagan, he didn't have, we didn't have AM talk radio, we didn't have Rush Limbaugh, we didn't have Fox News, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have any of that. And the establishment despised Ronald Reagan. Despised him. The Bush family, the Ford family, the Howard Baker wing of the party, that's right. The Karl Roves of their day didn't want him anywhere near the nomination, much less the Oval Office. But you know what Ronald Reagan had? He had the people, and he had the young Republicans. And what followed was 2 landslides and 30 years of uninterrupted prosperity. And I'm ready. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for that again. What do you think about that? That always gets clapped. Everybody's ready for that. Now not every. Part of the establishment was wrong then. Part of the establishment was wrong about the Reagan Revolution. Pretty large part. Part of the establishment was wrong in 2008, 2010, 2012, and part of them was wrong in 2016. Not all. And most of us are sitting right here. Most of us sitting here were on the right side. And I can't figure out why we still have Obamacare. I can give you 10 reasons why it's still here.
Michael Burgess.
There's 11. Write that Burgess thing down. Write that down. But I suspect you're speaking about someone who voted to repeal Obamacare 57 times. Now, if you owned a truck repair shop, okay? And your guy came in and said, hey, I can't get this truck to start. And you said, hey, check it for spark. And he comes back 4 hours later and says, I checked it for spark 57 times. What would you say? You'd say, you may check it for spark twice, maybe 3 times, not 57 times. And it is beyond me why these show why these showboats just kept going on and on and on and on, when Article 1 clearly states that the power of the purse allows the House to defund any part of any bill. You can defund a guy's salary, his overtime salary, if you want. The Constitution gives the House of Representatives that specific power. And they never did. Now there's a lot of theories, and we could sit here and, pick it apart all night, but that's history. Now we have this repeal and replace, and I'm thinking, no, just repeal.
Yeah.
I don't need to replace.
There you go.
And maybe I'm the only one that just says repeal. And I'll illustrate it like this. Whenever you get into debate, and the liberal is out of ammo after about 4 minutes, and the ad hominem begins, says, oh, well, you're going to repeal Obamacare, what are you going to replace it with? I always say, well, how about my old plan? And that's it. And then open it up a little. Or a lot even. Hey, how about this? How about if I want to buy a health insurance plan from a company in Belgium, because I like that what they're offering. And I want to go see a doctor in Australia, because I dig that dude. He's got a big knife. Alright? And I got a big boil. And that Belgian insurance company covers boils, because I get boils. Why don't I have the freedom to get that company and that dude? Why? Why do I got to stick to my little state? Why do I got to be covered for breast exams? Now, yeah, I should lose some weight, but why do I got to be covered? Is Wade laughing because I'm really serious about that?
You got it.
Anyway, I really did. I was very, very sincere about sitting watching TV and watching Senator Cruz by himself. It seemed like against the world, because members of his own party calling him names. No offense, I'm very reticent to criticize a veteran. I really am. But John McCain called him a wackover. Who talks like that? And there he is. And I just, and maybe Wade, maybe you know the answer to this. How long, I mean, was it, he stood up there for what, like 28, 30 hours or something? How long?
21 and a half.
21 and a half, wouldn't he have a Gatorade bottle in there or something? Because I watched the whole thing, I had to shave twice. Right there, the guy's amazing. I said, I'm following that dude. The minute I get in Congress, and I ended up getting to speak before him at Restoration Weekend, and again, I met John Grogan, and I got to introduce him to the Friends of Wade, and I was just off to the races, and I feel very proud of that, because there are people like Ted Cruz in Congress. They're there. They're just still a little bit outnumbered. That's all. And it's just the time. This is part of my speech where I take a poll. It's very dangerous. This is the dangerous part of my speech. Sometimes I'm dangerous. How many people, by round of applause, voted for Donald Trump in 2000? How many people voted for Donald Trump twice? No wonder I'm getting along so good with this crowd. I voted for him once too. Remember that one time where we had no choice? But I give him a B+. Hey man, when Obama got elected in 2008, I didn't jump off the cliff. I wanted him to do very, very well. I wanted him to do well because I wanted Is my time up?
No, you're right.
Usually that means get out of here. I wanted America to do well, and I want Donald Trump to succeed. I wanted to do very, very well for 4 years. I'll be honest with you. I can't believe. I can't believe we won the 2016 election. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I was shocked. You're sitting there watching the returns coming in, and I watch CNN for the returns because they really do a good job with every little county and it's coming in and out. I like all the little graphics and everything. And it's coming in, and I'm like, according to this, he's going to win. And I still don't believe it. I'm like, no, there is somehow. I'm waiting, and even after it's over, he's won, and Hillary, I don't know what she's doing. Another guy comes out and says, she'll be here tomorrow or whatever. Even then, I still didn't believe it. And, just like I didn't believe we lost in 2012, I mean, we had Clint Eastwood. How did that happen? We had Clint Eastwood. Who did they have? Sandra Fluck. We had Clint Eastwood, and they had Sandra Fluck. Remember her, the girl that wanted everybody to pay for her contraceptives? We had Dirty Harry, and they had Sandra Fluck. We had the outlaw Josie Wales, and they had Sandra Fluck. We had the good, we had the bad, and they had the Sandra Fluck. See what I did there? See what I did there after nominating? You can't learn that. It's innate. But I am running, and the consultants, one of them told me, you got to get out there. You got to get out there. You got to get that young vote. You got to find out what the kids are doing. Find out what them kids are thinking. Take a page from Obama. Figure out what them kids are thinking. So I went to the mall. That's what I did when I was a kid. I went to the mall. I went to Abercrombie and Fitch. You ever been there? You ever been to this? Okay. It's okay if you haven't been there. It's a horrible place. It's like a gentleman's club for mannequins. This place, they sell wrinkled shirts, really expensive torn pants with oil stains. I went in there and I looked at the price tags. I couldn't believe how expensive it was. I went home, I looked in my closet. You know what was in there? $17,000 worth of clothes. I'm sitting down and going, I'm going to open up my own clothing store. Forever 43. But I know what the kids want. And this other thing, the Washington Redskins. Now, you're not going to like this. It's going to run a little contrary. But if that word is so offensive, if that word is so repugnant to so many people, I think they should go ahead and change the name to the Maryland Redskins. I mean, that's where they play anyway. And the owner, he scores, he sells all the new jerseys, they got the new name. Win-win. But speaking of immigration, I've got a bone to pick, James, with the Republican Party, because this new immigration bill, the only one who's even read it is Marco Rubio. Of course, it's written in Spanish. So, I have a solution, actually, all joking aside. It's very simple. It's two-pronged. The first time you knowingly hire an illegal immigrant, you're fined $50,000. The second time you knowingly hire an illegal immigrant, you are fined $500,000. And the third time, you lose your ability to do business in America. How's that? in between your food, so it keeps your food from on the thing coming by. It separates your food from the next guy's food. We line up a bunch of those along the border. Nothing in, nothing out, those things. You ever seen anything get by those rubber deals? They'll come right up to that. Get one of those two. My favorite show. I want to, I'm an entertainment guy. Really, I am. My favorite show is The Walking Dead. Not because it's a great show. It is not. It's not well written. It's not particularly well acted. And it's a stupid premise. All the zombies, why don't the zombies eat each other? There's just so many holes in it. Every stupid zombie thing, you're going, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Why not? Anyway. But The Walking Dead is my favorite show because I can't wait till that time comes. You know, the time where all political correctness is gone. If you don't work, or if you don't try to work, if you don't help, or if you don't try to help, you don't eat. And if you just walk around trying to feed off everybody else, you get whacked with a machete. That's the world. That's my world. And I sit and fantasize during that show, because I'm the leader in that one. That's right. And no smartphones. That's a real one. Speaking of diversity, there is, I don't get it. Why don't we put up more of a fight on this diversity thing? Because the Democrats are all, here's the variance, where's the variance? And take a look at the last election. They had 3 white people. And not that I care, but they're the ones bringing it up all the time. I like white people. I'm a white people. Nothing wrong with the white people. I'm cool. Yeah? But they're always bringing it up, and I'm like, wait a minute. Marco Rubio's father's from Cuba. Okay, Ted Cruz's father's from Cuba. You can see Chris Christie from Cuba.
Krispy Kreme, Chris.
And there's 2. We had 2 doctors. We had what's his name? Rand Paul, Dr. Paul. He's an eye doctor, which is kind of ironic because he couldn't see his own hair before he left for work in the morning, which is kind of weird. And then we had the great Dr. Ben Carson. I mean, there's the American dream right there, Dr. Ben Carson, right? Not that it matters, but they're always screaming about it. He is African American, and he grew up in a single family, right? He's against all odds, abject poverty, grew up to be, and you knew he was going to be a great surgeon because when he was young, he'd run around stabbing people. You just knew right then and there. They call it practicing medicine, not usually on members of your own family. Anyway. Sure enough, he grows up to be a great surgeon. Did you know he actually successfully separated conjoined twins? And Donald Trump used to date twins. So I'm not sure. I don't know which one's more. You gotta find the line of defense, Julie. You know what I mean? Before you jump over it. But in all seriousness, I wanted to talk about education, mostly. Because, that's a party problem, leaving that cell phone. Party problem. Say, Mom, it's your mom, I'm giving you that. Mom, can I talk next? Mom gets embarrassed. Seriously, here's my theory. Conservatism, now get with me on this, get on my train here. Conservatism is the history of what works. Think about that. It is the world, the trial and error of the world. We try junk, you know, and what works we hold on to, and what doesn't work we jettison. And what works in Kentucky may not work in Seattle. And then, you know, and on and on and on. It's just the history of what works. And that's why we're so logical. And that's why we have such a tough time arguing, debating, discussing with people who have no concept of that. And I'm not trying to be cruel, but you know what I'm talking about. And that conservatism is what drives everything. And I don't know why, when people like Warren Buffett finally get there, they look back and they go, oh yeah, that socialism thing is great. Oh yeah, it's great. My secretary pays more tax than I do. No, she doesn't. That capital gains tax, that's money's already been taxed. Well, you know, you can't talk about tax and logic and stuff like that. You just can't. You can't win. The only thing that a liberal understands is that if they don't come your way, they're going to lose what they have. And I learned that a long time ago. And if you're going to go do battle, and you're going to think you're going to win with facts and logic, you have got a tough road ahead of you. And you've got a very frustrating loss, quite frankly, ahead of you. And it is fire against fire. And I'm not saying ad hominem. I'm not saying leave that to me. I'm not saying get down in the mud. I'm just saying you convince a liberal that if they don't come your way, they're going to lose their power. You convince them of that, and yeah, now you can win. And that is what I mean by the history of what works, because that works. And I've seen it for the past 15 years especially. And we've seen it as we took over. Oh, well, all we need is the House of Representatives. All we need is the Senate. All we need is the White House. All we need is the planet Mars. You know what I mean? I mean, we have been taking this Obamacare thing and using it like Thor's hammer. I mean, it is simply the biggest and most successful campaign winner since Watergate, I guess. So, in a way, I understand Republicans not wanting to give up that hammer. So let's not repeal and replace, because we're going to hand that hammer right over to the Democrats. We're going to own this nationalized, socialized, crappy healthcare system. It's going to be crappy Republican healthcare all of a sudden. Then what? Bam, bam, bam. Right back to Nancy Pelosi bill. Okay? So, it's almost time, apparently, for the Q&A. And my Q&A is rock, by the way. You're going to love my Q&As. I want to close with this, and it's about my father. I ran for Congress once before. I did not prevail. And the reason is, and I don't say this to garner any emotional points, but my father got sick, and I took care of him. I had to drop out of the race. I was going to beat this guy, too, believe me. But I'm back. And my father ended up dying. And the thing I remember most about growing up was when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to work. Were you like that? So mad when I applied for my first job that they wouldn't hire me because I wasn't old enough. I was so mad, I wanted to throw my bike through the window. You know? And I got my paper route. I finally got a job, like my paper route. And what I got to do was see my dad go off to work every day. And he worked at a steel factory. He worked at Stevens Adamson in Aurora, Illinois. There was 3 steel mills in my hometown. 3. Stevens Adamson, Balco, and I think the other one was U.S. Steel or something like that. And he would come home, and I'd see him come home at night and go to his next job, but he, spent a little time in between jobs. And he would be bleeding from his left elbow, only his left elbow. Every night. When he left, he wasn't bleeding. But when he got home, he'd be bleeding from his left elbow. No explanation. It's just kind of something we observed. I don't know why, but I just never asked him. But that's the thing that I remember the most about my dad. And with some help, I'm going to go to Washington. And when I come home from work every night, my elbows are going to be bleeding. Okay? And that's my promise. I need your support. I'll do all the work. It's a fair deal. Take it. Thank you very much.